I'm P. Michael Brach, and welcome to This Week Live. You know, Apu has been eliminated from The Simpsons, but his memory lives on. Some were offended, and he was canceled. But why? He depicted a hard-working, driven-to-succeed guy who taught us that to forgive and love came above all. And as if the stuff that kids watch now is much better, whether politically or otherwise. Today, real people from India, like fictional Apu, who were born and raised in India, are running America and the world's biggest and most successful corporations. They are the CEOs of companies like Alphabet, that owns Google, Microsoft, IBM, Adobe, Mastercard, Deloitte, and more. Companies that lead the world in technology and consulting are run by these Indian-born Americans. So is it any surprise that Google and many of these companies now feed their staff at the office so that they can keep working? Look a little further, and America may be about to elect its first Indo-American vice president, though the Indo part does not seem to come up on the campaign trail as often. She is one missing nitro pill away from the presidency of the United States and leader of the democratic world. Meanwhile, back in India, the place of birth and upbringing of so many of these recognized leaders is still the land of chaos and red tape. It is said that India's former British rulers invented bureaucracy, but that the Indians perfected it. Try doing the simplest things to create a business or buy and sell a home, anything that involves the government or companies, and it's chaos. You got to bribe every step of the way, followed by delay, and if you have trouble, the court system's non-existent. Ever wonder why India is so spiritual? I mean, without spirituality, people would be going postal every 15 to 20 seconds, which in a country of 1.3 billion is not a good thing. Of course, now with COVID, things are understandably far, far worse despite valiant efforts. So why does how India operates matter? Why am I not talking to you today about the Kardashians instead? Because in case you didn't notice, the balance of power in the world is shifting dramatically, and the democratic world may really need the world's largest democracy, India, to be operating well and ready to fill in some pretty huge gaps. India's not-so-friendly neighbor, China, who just finished opening fire on India, breaking 45 years of no shots fired, murdering 20 Indian soldiers, is gearing up to be the world's new boss. China's armed forces is now the largest in the world, second to India, and with America in third place. So when you add China's reserves to the mix, the number is even more daunting, with 8 million troops in China. Today, only India has almost the same population as China to be able to match their military numbers should it be necessary to help keep world peace. Prime Minister Modi of India had a rare, massive majority government twice and a clear mandate to make real change, to keep India progressing and lifting people out of poverty. He could have fixed so much and prepared India for the future. But instead, chaos continues and worsens. And by the way, even PM Modi's slogan for India's business development, Make in India, makes no sense. Come on, what are we, cavemen? Make in India sounds like a command to Frankenstein's monster. What marketing genius came up with that? Maybe he meant to say, make great products in India, but that took them over budget on the classifieds. Or make huge profit in India, or maybe make love, not war, in India. For parents, make in India sounds like potty training while traveling. Make in India, that's not hard, just try the Vindaloo or drink from the tap. Here's a tip. It's a bad strategy to pick a marketing slogan that is grammatically incorrect to promote your excellence in manufacturing. I mean, sure, other countries can do it with just two-word slogans like Russia with got poison, or China with enjoy camp. So sure, India needs to fix its slogan and fast, but more than that, India needs to fix how it does things. How is it possible that India built the future leaders of some of the world's most brilliant companies, but it remains a nightmare back home? Get rid of the layers of nonsense to get the simplest things done. And I say this not out of spite, but because we're headed into a major change in world powers, and the world may really need India to be very effective, and soon. India does do amazing things. It is the world's largest democracy, with every religion that you can imagine living together for hundreds and even thousands of years. A country that manages to enable its 900 million voters to vote even if it takes a month. No hanging chads, no broken voting machines, no massive accusations of fraud and mail-in ballot fights that America is about to enjoy. India is making much of the world's pharmaceuticals, with U.S. FDA inspectors on the ground there, and they continue to manage remotely some of the world's largest IT systems and more. But it is still a bureaucratic mess, and the guys next door are pulling so far ahead that it will soon be too late, perhaps for the world too. The democratic or free world needs a functioning India, and don't forget, India fighting on the side of democracy would not be a new thing. Many forget that without India's provision of troops in World War I, in which my own grandfather fought, and in World War II, the outcome might have been different. And by the way, you'll note that today's chart of military strength numbers makes no mention of Canada, thanks to much bigger world powers like Morocco and Greece who outnumber us. That also has to change, preferably before November 3rd. If ever the democratic world needs to work with India, and vice versa, this is it. So India, time to take the reins of government from the populists and politicians of all stripes and give them to some of your former citizens who America has entrusted to run its biggest companies and perhaps soon the country. And let them run India and reboot it fast. If these folks can create trillions of dollars of value for shareholders and run the world's most complex systems and companies, they can surely make India great and an invaluable partner to the free and democratic world. And the West needs to come to the party too and stop funding India's enemies and to some extent their own enemies before a very different and new world order becomes unstoppable. So Prime Minister Modi, you like to do crazy things like your decision to cancel 90% of everybody's cash to stamp out corruption. Maybe do something clever and let one of these folks help dramatically reimagine how India works before it's too late for India and frankly the world. Makes sense? And in the meantime, Mr. Modi, keep up the Hindi lessons. They're really paying off. He's doing great.
Abhi ki bar, Trump, Sarkar.
Thank you. Come again. Thanks for watching, and be sure and share this clip if you liked it and subscribe. It is free. Peace out.